First Time She Drowned by Carrie Clutter. The story starts with Cassie locked up in a mental hospital. She has been there for 2.5 years, put there by her mother. Cassie doesn't think she belongs there, and now is meeting with Dr. Meeks, the psychiatrist, one last time before she can leave in a few days. Cassie's best friend there is James. They joke, and as she leaves the office, she tries to trick Dr. Meeks into thinking there are Smurfs by the window. Finally, she's leaving, heading off to Dunton College, the college her mother attended. Truthfully, Cassie has mixed feelings about leaving the mental hospital. She's thankful and excited, but scared and nervous. She heads to the beach and jumps into the ocean, baptizing herself, starting fresh and cleansing herself of her past. She almost drowns, though, and gets water in her lungs. She's reminded of a time when she was young, of the first time she almost drowned at her grandmother's house. She gets to college, but she's sick and isn't attending classes. One day, when she's really sick, she crawls across the hall to a girl named Zoe's dorm, asking for help. Zoe takes Cassie to the hospital, where Zoe calls Cassie's mother. There, Cassie is reminded of a time when her great-aunt Dora came to visit her family and when she was taking care of her when her mother was out. Cassie finally goes to class, and on the way meets a boy named Chris. Cassie is reminded of her mother and when she went to Dunton College. Chris says he likes Cassie's face when she comes in late to class. Cassie goes with Zoe to the psychology building, but gets reminded of her past and leaves, and heads back to her dorm, where she sees her mother, who reveals she's having an affair. Cassie's mom is glad to see her, but Cassie's upset because of what she did, and she was supposed to call first. Cassie's mom then takes her shopping, then leaves again. Zoe and Cassie go to a beach party, and afterwards Chris asks her out on a date. She goes, and Chris teaches her to surf. Cassie's mom takes Cassie and Zoe out for dinner, but it doesn't go very well. Later, Cassie and Zoe go shopping for dresses for homecoming. Then it's homecoming. Cassie and Zoe go, and while Zoe is off with a boy, Cassie spends time with Chris. Things get romantic, and Chris and Cassie head back to a hotel room. Chris makes a move, but suddenly Cassie feels something and tells him no. She gets angry and throws a hairbrush across the room at him. Chris leaves, feeling hurt and confused. Cassie decides to leave college and go home, leaving Zoe upset. She finds a payphone and calls the mental hospital, wanting to talk to her friend James. They tell her that James had killed himself. She's very upset and goes to the only place she can think of, the office of the psychiatrist at the psychology building, named Liz. She stays there for a while and opens up to Liz about her past. While she's talking to Liz, she remembers that when she was young, that her great-aunt Dora molested her. She decides to stay in college and goes back to her dorm and sees Zoe. Cassie goes to the library and meets up with Chris. They talk about what happened and make up. Sometime later in the summer, Cassie has passed her first year of college. She decides to buy a surfboard and gets a job as a lifeguard. One afternoon at the beach, Cassie is with her little brother Gavin, and she teaches him to surf. For once in her life, Cassie's happy.